behind the gloves. Now, Mikey, there was a lot of build up to this fight. You know, Adrien was doing a lot of talking. Were you surprised on how you dominated? I mean, I seen from the first round you went out there. You set the pace. You went to the body. Were you surprised how you were able to dominate the fight?
Well, like I said, we had a great training camp, and I had great sparring partners to work on different game plans. And although he started off using, the jab and then trying to, use his footwork and a lot of head movement, and we knew he was going to slow down once I started picking up the work rate. And I started landing some jabs, started connecting. I found my distance and my range that was, the most effective thing. And I keep telling everybody, the timing beats speed. And I think I had a better timing, better range. I was in control. Whenever he wanted to step on the gas and come on the attack, I was just one step behind him and he wasn't able to touch me. And when I wanted to put on a little bit of pressure, just a little bit, I took a small little step forward and was able to land a jab or a straight right hand, just enough to keep him, on that defensive side. So I had a great game plan and it worked out perfect.
And if you had it your way, who would be the next opponent you would want to fight? I know you're a fighter and you just do what your team tells you to do, but who would you like to fight?
Well, like I said, we can call out a lot of guys, but I'm open to anybody that wants to step up. At 135, I've mentioned it before. A title unification match. Jorge Linares is the #1 guy that stands out the most. If that's unavailable, at 140, you got title unification matches right now coming around the corner between Crawford and Ndongo. That would be a great matchup. But we all know the promotional, problems sometimes don't allow fights to happen. So I'm not gonna be waiting for anybody. I think look at the turnout tonight and look at the media and everybody more buzz about my fight with Adrien Broner than people are talking about Crawford and Ndongo. No disrespect to the champions, but let's just make it, be honest. And I'm not gonna be waiting for someone that the promoter might not be willing to work with. If that's unavailable, then I'm looking at other options, even 140 or even, like I said, even 137.
And I'll say something because Mikey won't say it. Mikey's not a guy who does what his team says to do. Mikey didn't spend 2.5 years, with a lawsuit to do what his team says to do. Mikey doesn't talk like this, so I'll say more. Mikey makes his own decisions. He runs his own career. And that's what he waited 2.5 long years to do. So at this point, we'll all sit down. But who Mikey wants to fight, he's the guy who's going to fight.
James?
Mikey, what did you think about his power?
I felt the fight size advantage maybe. He was a little heavier, but honestly I didn't feel the power. He landed a few shots, but nothing really hurt me. I knew he let his hands go to the body. Some good hard shots, but not enough to hurt me. I don't know. I didn't get caught clean and effectively either. I mean, if I would have got caught with something really solid, maybe I would have said, fire, I felt the power, but I wasn't caught effective like that. So I honestly didn't feel the power.
Mikey, back here. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
One of the best fighters in the world is you. One of the other best fighters in the world is Lomachenko. He's fighting in a couple of days. You two together probably is one of the best fights in boxing. What do you think about fighting Lomachenko despite the promotional?
Listen, I think that would be a great matchup based on styles. I hear he is willing to fight me and has mentioned that he wants to fight me. His manager reached out to my brother asking him, maybe we can build that fight up. But I don't see him making the move up to 135. He's fighting a guy at 130 who just came out from a loss at 126. I mean, that doesn't show me he wants to move to 35. If you're serious about him, like I said, they can come, give us a phone call. We can bring him on to Showtime. We can definitely have those discussions. I think it would be a great matchup at 135. I ain't coming down to nobody. I'm not gonna wait for anybody either.
Back here. That might get Scott Kelly with the punchline. What do you think about the possibility of the winner of Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather? Would you guys move your training camp?
Hey, why not? I mean, hey. point, you know, like I said, I'm open to any options. And if they're serious about that, I'll take on that fight too. You know?
Congratulations, bud.
Right here, Mikey, Terrell, fighting 360. You're in a confusing situation.
Where are you at?
Right here, okay. Linares has the Diamond Championship at 135, correct?
Well, okay, to clarify some of that, okay. He held the WBC lightweight title until he was out for injuries, which forced him to vacate the title that Dejan Sladikanen picked up. When he returned, the WBC granted him status of emeritus champion, and he holding the WBC Diamond title, which is basically like a mandatory position to fight me.
If you really want to clarify, he didn't want to fight the Dejan.
He didn't want to fight Dejan.
He didn't want that fight.
He didn't want the fight.
I mean, he ran away from that fight, and then I know this because I promote Dejan, and then this man demolished Dejan. So, I mean, honestly, Linares didn't want that fight, and I'm sure Linares isn't really aching to fight him either.
But now you are technically that Diamond Championship. You're technically Terrence Crawford's mandatory, correct?
That could be depending on the guidelines that WBC puts out. What they normally do is they give a voluntary optional match. So I would have an optional if I wanted to fight somebody else. Crawford would have a voluntary matchup, you know, if you wanted to hold the title or not, and then eventually they match each other up.
Yeah. Mikey, Joseph Correa, Front Proof Media, right here. Right here.
Okay, gotcha.
Congratulations on an impressive win tonight.
Thank you.
I noticed early in the fight you were using a lot of feints. Was that something that you game planned for to kind of put him on the defensive, or was it something he was showing you? And was there anything that he did that surprised you in the fight?
Well, I kind of figured out and realized that he was waiting to counter me. So if I just extended a jab, he would probably counter with an overhand right. So I would feint him to try to make him, you know, counter, or try to, you know, bait him to throw his right, and maybe I can counter him in return. So it was a lot of feint to try to confuse him a little, and it seemed to work. Sometimes I landed the jab, sometimes I would just feint. It was just part of the game plan to keep him guessing and keep him, you know, on a little bit more on the defensive side.
Did he surprise you with anything?
Not really. We knew he was, you know, fast and able to counter. Normally he's very good at countering also with an uppercut when you're very close on the inside, but that's why we weren't close on the inside. We didn't give him that opportunity. The overhand right, he landed a couple times after my jab, but we were expecting that. But even those were not flush. I was able to kind of, you know, step aside just enough to avoid a solid, you know, right hand from him.
Thank you.
Mikey, when you were out for 2 years, a certain TV network told you no one cares about you. Well, how does it feel now when people do care?
2.5 years off, you know, and there was a lot of questions. You know, people wondered if my heart was still in it, or if I would come back like before, if I'd be, you know, motivated enough. But, you know, it's nice to come back and show everybody that, you know, my heart's in it. I'm hungrier than ever. I'm probably better than ever. And, you know, we can see the results. You know, it was a great crowd, great outcome. A lot of fans came out to support. All the media was out here, so, you know, I think that tells whoever have doubts, you know, it shows them, you know, that we're back and you know, we're ready to take over.
Mikey, BrooklynFights.com senior reporter. Can you speak to the fact that one of them rounds you seem to put your hands down when you was fighting Broner for about a good minute and a half? Can you speak about you know, why you did that and what you saw in Broner that made you do that, as well as some of the training that you experienced with Marcos Maidana previously when Maidana fought Broner? Was some of that helpful also going against Broner?
I worked with Marcos Maidana for the Mayweather fights, but he did tell us that Adrien Broner is a strong guy and that he finishes the fights real strong. Even after being dropped, you know, early in the fight with Marcos, Adrien Broner was able to come back strong, finish the fight real strong. So Marcos did, you know, mention that to my brother, and so we were aware of that. We were cautious about that, but that's why we didn't give him those opportunities in the later rounds. We kept that activity going. You know, I think it might have been the 10th round where I might have slowed down a little bit, but then picked it back up on the 11th and 12th round. You know, we don't want to make, you know, make the mistake of giving him those rounds. to the point of me dropping my hands. You know, I just wanted to show everybody, you know, I got more things in the tricks. You know, I got more little tricks in the box that people still haven't seen. I keep telling you, you guys still haven't seen the best of me. And I wanted to show you a little something. And even in front of Adrien Broner, who's fast and strong, I'm not afraid of him. I wasn't gonna be afraid. I knew what I was doing. Drop my hand, let him throw punches. He wasn't gonna land anything. And he backed off. Instead of trying to, you know, knock me out or let his hands go, he knew, you know, it wasn't gonna happen. So he actually started walking back, and I walked him back with my hands down. You know, I was just showing him he's not a better fighter than me. You know, I beat him just even at that mentally. I think that was an advantage for me there, a victory in itself, and I show the fans, you know, what I'm able to do inside the ring.
Mikey, does this victory over Broner put you in the mix for pound supremacy?
That's up to you guys and the riders. Everybody has a different list. I think it's a step closer to that, but I'm not chasing that either. I'm just here to do my job, you know, and let the fans enjoy a great night of boxing, and that's all I'm here to do. Anybody that wants to put me on the list or not, it doesn't really matter to me.
Hey Mikey, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
After your long drawn-out battle with Top Rank, if they do allow you to get into the ring with guys like Lomachenko and Crawford, would it be a little sweeter to be one of those guys and kind of stick it to them?
Look, if I take a fight with them, there's no grudge. I know this is business. I know how business is done, and you know, I learned from those 2.5 years. I learned how they handle business. They want to fight. If they want to put one of their guys, you know, they're gonna come to us, and we can work together. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not gonna come and kneel down to whatever terms they want to, you know, give. It doesn't work like that. I'm in a different position now. I think you know, these last few fights show, you know, the fighter that I am, and not necessarily that it would be a, you know, sweeter victory for that reason, but I think you know, just showing the fans that I'm a better fighter than those fighters that you mentioned who are held up here, you know, and me beating those kind of guys, that's the victory there. Not who's promoting them or who's promoting the show. It's, you know, beating the guys that people think are on top of the pound for pound list or on top of the world and you know, beatable. So I know I could beat all these guys.
Hey, what's up, Mikey? Real good.
Yeah.
While back in a couple of videos with Ellie, you kind of jokingly, you know, humored the idea of fighting Keith Thurman. That's a guy already on this side. It's not no politics in the way. You mentioned 47. I'm just wondering, as a fan, at the end of the day, is Keith Thurman somebody you would get in the ring with?
I would do it, and honestly, if it's a good fight that the people, media, and the network want to, you know, discuss, I'm open to discussing that too. He's a great champion, great fighter. You know, he's a unified champion at welterweight, so that'd be a great matchup. You know, a great accomplishment. You know, big challenge. But that's what we want. That's exactly the kind of fights that we want. We want a, you know, big challenge. And if I want to be remembered in the sport, you know, those are the fights that you got to take. I could take easy fights, easier fights, you know, fighting top contenders, but, you know, fairly easier fights. But that really doesn't do anything. The fans won't recognize you, they won't remember you. You know, it's not going to help build a legacy.
Congratulations on the win, Mikey.
Thank you.
You had to know that you were given a pretty confident salute with the glove at the end of every round. I'm sure you thought you were up pretty wide at the end. Going through those last 3 or 4 rounds, and maybe you hit on it earlier about the uppercut, but did you think there was any extra gear, anything that Adrien, that Broner could get to upset what you had going on?
It was, I think, maybe the 9th or 10th round where my brother kind of warned me, and we expected Broner to finish strong. Like I said, he finished other fights real strong, so my brother kind of told me in the corner, look, he's losing the fight. They're gonna send him with everything he's got. They're gonna send Adrien to try to knock you out, try to, you know, back you up and beat you up like that, because he's losing, and he's got no other option. But I didn't give him that opportunity because I kept working behind my jab, kept circling around him. At that point, I wasn't even looking for a knockout because y'all don't need it. You don't need the knockout. You don't need to be brawling with Adrien Broner like other fighters like Marcos or Sean Porter. I was able to box. I was expecting him to come more aggressive in those last rounds, but I was able to pick it up that little bit more. My activity was just a little bit, faster and better than he was, and I didn't give him that opportunity.
Were you aware of how the crowd kind of shifted over the course of the fight, and towards the end of it, it seemed like the house was totally pro Mikey?
We had I think it was like a 50-50 there. He had a lot of fans too. So I don't let the fans affect my performance or get in my head and in any way affect my fight and my game plan. But at the end, I think everybody appreciates a good boxing display of boxing, and then they can appreciate what I did in the ring. And maybe I won some more fans tonight.
Hey, if you fight one more time before the end of the year and you get another big win, I would say that you're in the running for Fighter of the Year. Is that something you care about or think about as you pick your next fight?
I would love to fight another fight before the end of the year. I hope I can get another date. I really, really want to get another date. Being 2.5 years off, like I said, I want to come back and I don't want to waste any more time. If we get the right matchup, I possibly would be considered, Fighter of the Year and all that. And that'd be just another accomplishment in itself. It's not my goal. It's not my primary goal right now. But if I'm able to accomplish that too, well, that'd be one hell of a year for me.
So Mikey, at different points in the fight, Adrien was going back, Adrien was moving forward, and you adapted to all of it. Obviously, you're a very versatile fighter, but do you generally have a preference about whether you like a guy to come forward at you so you can counter at him, or whether you like to go forward yourself to break holes in his defense?
I don't really have a preference, but it seems to me that most of the time guys like to come forward against me, and they might think that I'm nothing special. When they see me outside on TV or they see me from outside the ring, they go, oh, the guy doesn't do anything. Look, he just stands right in front of you. It's a simple jab in the right hand. So they might think that coming forward might affect me, but I'm able to make those adjustments. If they want to move around, well, I can walk forward little by little. I can cut the ring. I can do other things too. And it's just subtle little things that I do that allow me to always be effective. I don't have a preference. Although I am a little more defensive oriented most of the time, but even going forward, I got my guard up. I'm very aware of punches, oncoming punches, and I'm not just being wild out there either. I'm always very defensive, even going forward.
Mikey, you just made a reference to the fact that Porter and McDonald beat him by brawling. When you said you were the better boxer before this fight, I'm not sure that a lot of people believed you. Was it that much more rewarding that you got in there and you seemed to beat him in every aspect, particularly in boxing?
Well, I tell everybody, people still haven't seen everything of Mikey Garcia, and a lot of people thought that I would have to brawl and push Adrien Broner back and keep him against the ropes like Marcos and Sean Porter had success. But I knew I'm a better boxer than that, and it's not necessarily sweeter, to show everybody that, but I knew what I got to do. I knew what we had to do to win, and we don't need to brawl. I knew I could beat Adrien Broner at a distance that allows me to work without getting hit. If we trade punches, well, I'm also playing with danger there because he could also bang. He could also, land a shot, and we don't want to give him that opportunity. So I was able to work at a distance that best fit me and allowed me to work and come out fairly clean with no punishment and win every round.
Back here.
Mikey, this is one of the top performances. I think it was a very good performance. My last victory was a great knockout, and today I showed great boxing skills.
Mikey, how would you rate Adrien's power?
Okay, where are you? Okay, bring it back. How would I rate Adrien's power? I don't really get a chance to feel it. He had some good shots to the body. I could feel him letting his hands go real hard when he was letting his hands go to the body, but none of that really landed flush. And some of the shots that he landed upstairs were not flush either. I wasn't even able to land a solid right hand like I have in the past against other opponents. I was able to duck down a little bit enough to avoid it. I landed some, solid straight punches, but nothing completely just flush. I don't know if he could even say that he felt my power either, because like I said, nothing was solid like that. But I did feel him let his hands go. I was able to block some of those punches, and you could feel the power. I was just, very well prepared and didn't get caught on the body or upstairs with something real flush.
This is Casual Boxing Talk TV. Don't forget to subscribe, people. Don't forget to like and share, and most important.